The 12 bosses of the Zodiac. Aries, March the 21st to April the 20th. When you're under an Aries thumb, it's not work. It's war. Aries bosses don't get to high-ranking positions through privileged connections or gratuitous sass-licking. They steamroll, bulldoze and bludgeon their way to the top with all the subtlety and grace of an armored tank. Once they've acquired a taste for demolishing the opposition, they're not about to stop. No matter that the office accountant keeps telling them staff turnover is appallingly high. How to get a pay rise? Ask for one. That should be enough to send your employer through the roof and you through the nearby office partitioning. There are no pay rises or promotions to be had in an Aries organization, only demotions. The closest you'll get to rising through the ranks is when you're winched up by the scruff of your neck during the routine early morning office drill for mentioning that pay rise again. Leo. July the 24th to August the 23rd. Unlike the other bosses of the Zodiac, even-handed, fair-minded, generous to a fault, helpful at all times, kindness personified and a great bunch to work for. Remember this. There is a protocol that must be observed at all costs in a Leo-led organization. It's a mutual appreciation society, one in which the both of you agree to mutually admire the boss. How do I love thee? Let me count the ways. It doesn't matter how insincere you are while saying this, your Leo boss will always believe you mean it. Like all living legends, when they're not puffing their chests out and banging on about their brilliant corporate takeovers, Leo employers will occasionally let you speak and provide you with counsel. All this posturing and preening makes you wonder how the hell Leo bosses get any work done. They don't. They hire you to do it for them for all your brilliant ideas. Bosses will steal your thunder. They invented it. How to get a pay rise? Grovel sycophantically. I can't believe I'm Sagittarius. November the 23rd to December the 21st. The worst thing that can be said about Sagittarian bosses is that they will frequently ask you to do things you do not want to do, such as orienteering on a wet weekend, or skydiving. The activities build character, the boss will proclaim, and an employee with character is more effective than one without. Point out that an employee with both legs in working order is more effective than one without, and you will be reminded forcefully of Muhammad Ali. What would he be doing today if he had not taken risks in life? Probably not dribbling and twitching uncontrollably, you think, but keep your mouth shut. Sagittarians are rarely good diplomats, but there are a number of other positions into which Sagittarians are positively encouraged, partly because only Sagittarians manage to combine the bluff good humor, rude good health and mindless jabbering such positions require. Devising television programs with names such as Gladiators and Civivia running commando units. Commentating at the Olympic Games. Coaching girls' hockey teams in fee-paying schools, and not much else really. How to get a rise from a Sagittarian boss? Plan ahead. You must turn yourself into the boss's idea of a model employee. Jog to work, play squash every lunchtime and offer to play the boss. No true Sagittarian will be able to refuse. Make sure you lose, preferably doing your hamstring in the process. Taurus. April the 21st to May the 21st. Every Taurus boss once had a good idea. Well, an idea, anyway. And that one idea, he or she is deeply convinced, is as good now as it ever was. Never mind that the world has moved on. To say that the average Taurus boss is obstinate is an understatement. Suggest to the Taurus boss your carefully planned, researched and costed scheme for upping company turnover by 20% by selling stuff that people might actually want, and you'll be told that the stubborn son of a bitch corporation didn't get where it is today by pandering to fads. Taurus bosses are very good at no. It's yes they find tricky. How to get a promotion? Seeking a promotion from a Taurian boss presupposes that the boss knows what it is you actually do, when actually in their eyes there are only two positions, the boss and everyone else. Requests for promotion are therefore worrying. They suggest unrest, change, ambition, desire, new ideas, forward motion. They are therefore unthinkable. Abandon your efforts. Virgo, December the 23rd. Virgo bosses operate on a need-to-know basis. They don't need to know your name, that's your responsibility. Virgo bosses feel compelled to list their blessings every couple of days, with updates, addenda, errata, supplementaries and appendices. In industry they find themselves. Virgo bosses cannot help but give full rein to their two obsessions, record-keeping and paranoia. The first of these fuels the second, leading the boss to the inevitable conclusion that his or her competitors are just itching to get their hands on the company's completely itemized and costed records of in-house coffee consumption. How to get a pay rise. Send a memo, listing in point form at least 24 reasons why you think you should be paid more money. It won't work, but the boss will be delighted to make 6 copies of it and place one in each of your personal files, each with the notation, "This one has ambition." Could be plotting something. Capricorn. December the 22nd to January the 20th. Capricorn bosses know everything. Always. They hear everything. They see everything, and yet they never talk. At least they never talk to you. And why should they? You are an employee and therefore by Capricorn definition unimportant. There's Jin talking to you. In particular, they know that you have to get on in this world. Nothing else matters. How to get a promotion. Status is everything, and in the Capricorn business empire must be recognized. You have therefore 2 options. Send money to one of those American businesses with names like the Holy Gospel Tennessee International University for Divinity Research Proprietary Limited and get a hefty sounding degree by mail order. Or you can enter one of those periodic British auctions of unwanted noble titles, the ones where you can become the Baronet of Chipping Sodbury for under £1,000. Phil from Accounts doesn't have a chance. The Reverend Dr. Phil from Accounts, or Phil, 7th Earl of Wolverhampton from Accounts, is another matter entirely. Gemini. May the 22nd to June the 21st. The only items on the daily business agenda of any real interest to a Gemini boss are work-based scandals, mostly because they're more fun than actual work-based work. Working for a Gemini boss is much like trying to look after a hyperactive 5-year-old. Life doesn't get any easier when new Gemini boss performs one of his numerous daily disappearing acts. Even when absent, he'll manage to make his devastating presence felt. Before he slips, sneaks, runs or waltzes out of the door, he'll fail to let you know that you'll have to cut everyone's wages this month because he's dipped into company funds again. On the rare occasions when he does happen to be within eye range, it's still very hard to keep his attention for long. So if you need to speak to him, make it snappy. Also to record any conversations in memo form, otherwise your Gemini boss will immediately forget what transpired and, worse still, won't admit that he's forgotten. How to get a promotion. Simple. Give yourself or grant a title. Your Gemini boss won't remember what you were before. Libra. September the 24th to October the 23rd. In the competitive cutthroat world of business, there are only 2 ways in which a Libra finds him or herself in a position of power, by accident or inheritance. Or usually both. This often means that Librans are prone to find themselves suddenly and through no fault of their own in charge of enormous and enormously diversified companies, which require firm, ruthless and iron-fisted control. How to get a promotion. Research, then lobby hard. Asking the boss is obviously a bad idea, since your carefully worded internal memo reminding him of your years of service, your qualifications, loyalty, performance results, trustworthiness, energy, popularity, commitment and excellent dress sense will without doubt end up about halfway down the mile-high pile of documents neatly stacked in the tray marked pending. If the company is still in business more than 2 weeks after Libra's unwitting achievement of leadership, then clearly someone, somewhere, is making the necessary decisions. Aquarius. January the 21st to February the 19th. Aquarians detest the very idea of business, loathe the competitive urge, cannot abide exploitation, and have a deep-seated ethical problem with the concept of the profit motive. They are forever coming up with peculiar and socially responsible schemes. They come across as so nice, so fair and so reasonable that you have to fight the urge to either puke or lash out blindly. They utterly reject the very notion of a boss and see themselves instead as facilitators, motivators, or, in extreme cases when the Prozac supply has dried up, catalysts for change. They believe that knowledge is a common resource. In practical terms, this means they feel obliged to sit on the edge of your desk and drone on and on about the personal and philosophical dilemmas they face daily in maintaining the integrity of their spirit against the dehumanizing imperatives of commerce. They are scrupulously honest and would no more think of removing a paperclip from the office without due cause than murdering their own grandmothers. Therefore they assume, indeed insist, that all employees observe the same protocols. How to get a pay rise, difficult. 1 billion people on this overcrowded world are starving to death, you will be told. Does this mean nothing to you? Cancer. June the 22nd to July the 23rd. Cancer bosses are constitutionally incapable of saying what they mean. Talking to a Cancer boss is much like consulting an oracle. You have to interpret and hope for the best. He or she will never, for instance, come right out and tell you not to wear that nose ring while serving the customers. Oh no. It is a startling fact that no Cancer boss from Julius Caesar onwards has ever sacked an employee. Many a crab-dependent worker, however, has been downsized, made redundant, let go, relieved, rendered surplus, outplaced, shelved or freelanced. To call a Cancer boss moody is about as accurate as calling the Sultan of Brunei well off, Michael Jackson a bit odd, or Paris Hilton fortunate. So there is never a dull moment. Severely horrible ones, but dull ones, number. How to get a promotion. It gets lonely at the top, and Cancer bosses, being reluctant to confide in anyone, feel this loneliness more than most. Winning a better position is therefore dependent on winning the trust of the boss. Scorpio. October the 24th to November the 22nd. It would not be too gross an exaggeration to say that most employees working for a Scorpio boss spend so much time looking over their shoulders they keep bumping into walls and falling down lift shafts. Scorpio bosses are stealthy, sneaky bastards. The second you even consider reading a trashy magazine instead of writing a report, something cold and icy will start breathing down your neck. The moment you so much as think of leaving the office early, something akin to the creature from the Black Lagoon will emerge from behind you. Sinister and creepy as they are, occasionally Scorpio bosses will be forced to smile, usually when they think they've caught you red-handed. Doing what, you have no idea, since they won't actually tell you. Scorpios aren't big on small talk. They prefer to let you prattle on, protesting your innocence while they remain deep in thought, invariably thinking up suitably nasty punishments. In the dark netherworld that is the Scorpio mind, all employees are guilty until proven so. How to get a pay rise. This is the fiscal equivalent of getting blood out of a stone. Even if you do manage to squeeze more money out of your Scorpio boss, a feat only likely to be achieved by introducing medieval instruments of torture, expect to pay for it for the rest of your working life. Pisces. February the 20th to March the 20th. In the tough, unforgiving world of business, the buck stops at the boss. But not with a Piscean, it wouldn't. Said buck would be caught with about as much enthusiasm as a sexually transmitted virus. Because they're such sensitive souls and don't like being yelled at by you or anyone else, Piscean bosses would always try one or two escape plans. The first would be to blame someone else. And they would do it so soulfully and with so much hand-wringing that you'd believe them. Your outpouring of sympathy will come to an abrupt halt sooner or later, usually when it is your turn to cop the blame. How to get a promotion? Easy. As soon as your Pisces boss realizes that he or she might be held accountable for making a balls up of an entire organization, all of a sudden you would be in charge of 300 employees, 5 offices nationwide, 12 factory outlets and an overseas subsidiary.